Assalamu alaikum and welcome to a case study interview with my brother Wahid Rahman. Welcome, Wahid. Thank you so much for coming on this case study interview.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me.
So, Brother Wahid, first of all, could you just describe your job role, what you do, your kind of family situation where you live, and how you first came across my work?
Sure. So I work for a real estate company based in London, Victoria. They're one of the largest UK REITs. I focus primarily on financial planning and strategy, so more forward-looking. By default, I'm an accountant by profession, but stepping away from the whole number crunching to more forward-looking and being a bit more strategic and less transactional based. How I come about your Vista program and of course your one-to-one coaching, it's through your LinkedIn profile,
Mhm.
and some of the articles that I've read were quite reminiscent and more I could translate to what was happening, things I was experiencing at the time, and I felt like actually I needed something like this. And at the time of me, trying to find something and searching for it, I knew that I needed something long term, and that I feel like that some of the articles that you've written in the past, and it felt very genuine, and it's something I kind of wanted, something that I could kind of someone who could get me on a personal level, who understands my vision, and also from a dean perspective as well to kind of push me along the journey, inshallah. And I felt like you met that profile, and alhamdulillah, here we are now.
Alhamdulillah. So yeah, I remember on LinkedIn I hadn't had a conversation with you, and I think there was I think it was a masterclass you missed, right? And I think I remember you mentioned, oh, I need this masterclass. I think it was three secrets to overcome overwhelm or something like that. And then that's the first time we got speaking. But like I said, you'd been following my post for a while then. Now, some people have really big problems before they meet me, right? Like they're overwhelmed at work, or they've been stuck at one job for 5 years and they want to get out of that job, or their marriage is in disarray, or right, there's all these kind of overwhelm, right? But you didn't kind of come across like that. So what would you say was, like, what was your need for coaching when you met me? What were the kind of the problems, like, which maybe on the outside others will look at your life and think, well, this guy doesn't have any problems, right? But what were the problems you felt internally, which you felt, this I want to coach, and I think Tushar might be the right person to help me. What were those problems? Could you describe, like, the kind of before we
Sure.
started
Sure,
scenario?
no. I think it's more the fact that I felt like I was hitting a ceiling, and
Mm,
and I knew I could offer so much more, and
right.
and I felt like it was on repeat constantly. And
Mm,
sometimes when you feel like you're on repeat, something's not right here.
mm,
And I kept on questioning myself, because at work, the company I work for quite great, it's quite comfortable. I get praised a lot, I'm valued a lot as well, and
mm,
but I just felt like I could do it off so much more, especially from an Islamic
mm,
perspective, and I think also the narrative around Islamic finance, which we'll probably speak about later on. A lot of
mm,
those conversations were basically were more apparent, and you've seen a lot more brothers now have into that space. Even we had a new CEO who came in, and he was talking about having like direction and value and purpose, and somehow it was just ticking all the right boxes. And I just started thinking about, hold on, I need to do something here, because I do want to be a person of impact, not just
mm.
within the family, but also within the community, and also in the space that I work in, because there's a in the real estate sector, there's a quite small minority of Muslim who work in that space. And actually, if we
Right.
could create, if I could be that catalyst to kind of get people more into that sector, whether it be real estate from working for a developer, or working for a housing association, or a construction company, but we're all quite connected, and that we've got one vision, which is to kind of grow the Islamic economy. And one of the things we know about as well is that getting a house, is quite difficult now, and riba is prevailing everywhere. And what's the alternative? Alhamdulillah, we're seeing some products out in the market now, but can I be
Just to
part of that?
simplify this, because I mean, I understand because we've had a lot of conversation about it, but just to simplify this for the audience, in a nutshell, are you saying that you had a vision for setting up something, either a business or a consultancy, in an area which is of passion to you, um, so in effect, like becoming an entrepreneur, or setting up a consultancy in this case, Islamic
Ab
finance, and
absolutely.
you had been stalling on that mission, that vision for many years, and you decided this was the time, this was the year when you wanted to make that happen.
Absolutely, yeah. So that basically that's what it is. So I felt actually I need to start becoming an entrepreneur and start changing my
Mm,
mindset to not just you want to have a growth mindset, but you want to have an entrepreneurial mindset. And I felt the
mm,
more I was thinking of it like that, I felt more uncomfortable within my surroundings,
mm,
and I had to take action. And I felt actually let's this has to be a year action now, and consider it. And the more I was thinking about it, the more my passion for executing my vision, was becoming more disruptive in a good
mm,
way.
mm.
And
Yeah.
so yeah, so I just felt I had to get somebody on board, someone who could actually get me to that level where actually I need to get there, but at the same time being there that's sustainable. And we'll have you'll have ups and downs, but it's making sure that you're always being that you're always being that high performing, high impact person.
Okay, love that, love that. And then we started Vista, and you started throwing yourself at it, enjoying it really well. And I thought a good way to sum up your Vista experience is the 3 hour workday challenge we did, which I bet did you come runner up, or you won that?
No, I want it. I want it.
You won it, mashallah.
I
Yes,
w-
yeah, you won that. Yeah, I think that you did you join two? I think it was
I
no,
did.
Sister Aisha did.
Yeah, since I actually did the join two, and I did a lot of I was using my skill set a little bit, a lot of analytics involved, a lot of charts and
Oh yeah, I
graphs,
remember that one.
the
Yes,
fancy
yes, yes.
presentation.
That's right. That's right. But no, Basha, you were a worthy winner. And so, can you sum up which were the what were the best, your favorite kind of tools and strategies from the Vista process, which helped you win that competition where you saved it was over 20 hours, right? That week, I think you
Yeah,
saved
so
over
I think
20
there's
hours.
yeah, so I think it's the sticky focus game is really, really good. I think if you're if you're like myself who's a busy professional, and sometimes things can get out of hand, and actually using this methodology, of like sticky focus game, picking three things and focusing on that, and creating deep work blocks, and focus on just those specific tasks. It goes a long way, and when it becomes a habit, you actually realize actually there's so much you can do within a short amount of time. You just need to get it organized and have a technique. So those are one things that I did, and also organizing my diary along the week, and making sure that I have deep work blocks set out, shallow work blocks, and a focus on okay where I can actually add value. And I think I like the idea of I'm sick of like the 9 to 5 role now, and actually could I cram a 7 hour work day into a 3 hour work day? So
Right.
it's a
That
personal
challenge was,
challenge as
yeah,
well.
I love
And
that. Yeah.
the fact that I did it, it made me realize actually hold on a moment, I could be a bit smarter now in terms of
Mm,
actually let's start doing that let's adopt that now going forward. The 3 hour block out in the morning, that's your work day, and then the rest of it is more about how can I self develop myself, or networking in my situation at the moment. So I'm trying to kind of control the situation myself basically.
Fantastic. Oh, I love that. And mashallah, you've saved a lot of hours, you learned a lot of skills, and some people might question, they might like a lot of these tools and strategies, you can learn it in books, you can read books on time management, you can learn these different habits and planning on from different people and YouTube videos, for example. People might question, well, why couldn't you do that yourself? What was it about the Vista process which helped you actually implement it and change your life? Why isn't this something which is possible for people to do by themselves?
Yeah, well, if I could do it by myself, then I would not have attended the Vista program in the first instance. I think for me, it is important that I had accountability, and someone who's got the Vista Pro is quite unique in that it's obviously it's around time management, but it's also focused on the Dean, and it's something that I haven't
Mm,
come across anywhere, to be honest with you. And it's actually suited for various individuals. Alhamdulillah, when I joined the group calls, I was joined by people from different professions. Some are more focused on the deen, some are more focused on their professions, and actually, alhamdulillah, you can kind of bounce off each other as well, and
mm,
learn their experiences, learn their techniques. So I felt like for me, having the accountability is important, especially for a short period, just to kind of assess myself where I am at the
Yeah.
moment, and where do I need to actually start brushing up, and what habits I can or techniques I can use within that time frame to kind of implement as soon as possible to kind of elevate me
Mm,
ahead. Right, because if I don't do it, then I could be in the same situation a year down the line, 2 years down the line, with regret.
yeah.
And as I mentioned earlier, for me, it's a year of execution, and I'm like, okay, and this whole passion and zeal of execute my vision has been very disruptive now, and actually, I need to start getting things in order, and this is very important, and it's something at the forefront for me, because if this is not in order, then everything else is kind of falls away. And those
Totally.
milestones get further and further away. And actually, I don't want that. I kind of want to make sure I kind of really that I'm always in control.
Wow. And you know what was also really interesting about you is that despite you were getting success on the program, mashallah, you're one of the top students. You completed the the success tracker well. You won the competition, mashallah. And normally, what people will you'll finish the Vista program, and then you have I offer the chance to upgrade to do one-to-one coaching, high performance coaching. And this is something I wanted to kind of focus on a little bit here because I've got a lot of case studies where we talk about Vista, but I want to talk a little bit about the one-to-one coaching because what's unusual about you is that you opted for that quite early on the Vista program. You hadn't even finished the Vista, you hadn't even done the 3 hour weighted challenge. Yet you were certain enough because I had mentioned that I've not got many one-to-one places left, and you jumped at the opportunity at investing in a longer relationship. 12 sessions, over 6 months. And many people, what's a common what people sometimes do is they think, okay, I've done Vista now. I'm just going to spend time implementing it, or I'm just going to try and, I've got the discipline, I've got these tools, I should be able to do it myself, right? What would you say to them in terms of your thought process for why you wanted this more? I think you said something to me. You know what? I want to work with the next 5 years, right? What gave you this such long term vision and made you think that look, you want to kind of carry on this journey post Vista at a one-to-one level?
So, so I've always acknowledged I needed a performance coach, and once I found yourself, and I was already engaged in the Vista program, I felt, although in a short amount of time, I could see the change in myself,
Mm,
and I knew actually I knew I needed something long term, and it
mm,
just felt it's just in the moment. I felt it was the right time for me to start actually making you aware that actually I am serious. I do have a
mm.
serious vision here, and I do need somebody to hold me to account and get me to where I want to be. And I know for a fact it's a lofty vision, and
Yeah,
although the Vista programs helped so much in a short amount of time, but to get to where I want to get to does take time. And hence why I've
right.
always acknowledged actually sometimes start off, get the techniques right, and then slowly pace yourself, and start
Mm,
working towards that vision, inshallah. And although I said 5 years, it could be maybe longer. Who knows?
yeah, yeah,
It's making
yeah.
sure I had that, and a lot of execs have it. I've seen it. They have a lot of performance coaches. So it's something that I think in the Muslim community it's probably undervalued.
Yeah.
But inshallah, I think the more we have more professionals in senior roles who are taking up like performance coaching roles, you can see a lot more benefit to it, inshallah.
Wow, I love the fact that you mentioned that you've got this lofty vision and recognizing this lofty vision is long term and therefore you're going to need that support in the long run. What would you say to what would be your advice to someone who's maybe finished Vista and they're considering whether they should do high performance and then maybe they've done well. I mean, typically I won't even offer it unless they've done well in Vista, right? So let's say someone who's done Vista, and I think this is one of the dangers of when you've had a successful program even though it's short term, is like maybe this sense of like, okay, I've achieved it now. I've got all the tools. I don't need any support anymore. What would be your advice if someone was at that situation? They came to you and they asked, okay, well, I finished Vista. Do I need to do CHPC? Do I need to do one-to-one coaching? Should I not just carry on by myself? What would be your sincere advice to them?
If they've already been on the program, so from my experience, and especially with having some of the being on some of the group calls with some of the doctors, and some of their passions and some of their shortcomings that they're going through,
Yeah.
and some of the impact they want to have in their industry. So
Mm,
if you've done the Vista program and you feel like you want to be a person of impact in the industry,
wow.
then it's changing the industry takes time. So
Mm.
you need someone there to kind of support you, that understands you, and it's not hard. It's not if you're it's hard to find a genuine coach, and and who gets your vision, who understands you, and so it's easy to kind of articulate what you want,
Mm.
and kind of put you in the right direction. So if you are an individual who wants to make a difference in your industry, make an impact in the ummah, then I think performance
Mm.
coaching is something that should be considered and not dismissed, especially in the long
Right.
term.
I love that distinction. I could not have said that better myself. So in the sense of, and it's really interesting hearing from your perspective. That yeah, it's about if you want to be a leader in your industry. It reminds me of Iqbal Naseem, who surprised me about becoming a client to someone I regard as my own mentor. And I've had a few of my business coaches who've become my clients as well, and all of them are people of vision. And I remember with Iqbal at the time. He had he'd already achieved so much, but he's got another vision now. He wants to expand, and I remember talking to him, and I said, well, if you're going to get to that next level, to maintain what you have, and to get to that next level, right, it's going to require a lot of energy, a lot of time, and then it's going to be challenging to maintain that and balance everything else. Perhaps coaching would really be that'll be a really invaluable aid in that journey and that discussion that theory was what convinced him and he realized that yeah that makes complete sense. So yeah, no, I love that perspective you've shared. Just final two questions. What would you could you describe your transformation, right? How what do you feel the differences are in you now after having experienced the Vista program and several sessions of one-to-one coaching now? Like how do what's the kind of before and after?
I feel I definitely feel more confident and assertive in trying to execute my vision. That's something that I think that
Remember that swagger thing you said? Remember,
yeah,
you've
I
got a
remember the
swagger in
swag.
your step.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
feel like I've got my swaggers coming back, and I've already started having this conversation with senior people in Atlantic, and they're quite intrigued. And it's a case of actually, I would not have done that if I have not done the program. And I just feel like it's serious now, the vision, and because and the performance coach are doing it's made me realize actually you can actually deliver this, inshallah. Qadar of Allah, but you still need to strive and make the effort. But yeah, I just feel ready. Um, and so it's something within yourself. You feel ready that you want to go above and beyond, all sweat, and deliver that vision, inshallah, no matter how long it takes. But you're aware that you need to be nurtured. You need to be, someone needs to support you to get you to where you need to be, inshallah. And it will take time.
Fantastic. And what are the benefits of some of the new habits you've gained in
No, so
organization and in
so,
time management,
yeah,
high performance? How does that
so
affect you on a
no,
practical level in
so
different areas of your life?
absolutely. So a lot of the habits I've gained, for example, this is quite a unique program in terms of time management. The things we need to do, we always have to put Allah first, and a lot of things
Mm,
we can easily do. We forget quite easily, doing athkar in the morning, the evening, making time for Quran. And some of these soft things that you get if once you design the habit and it becomes habitual, it becomes quite normal. For me, doing azkar just before I go to work, praying two rakat salatul duha,
mm,
yeah, praying qiyam, or tahajjud when I can, and having a routine where I can actually take time out for myself and do some azkar, um, planning a lot. I work in financial planning, but this planning that I'm doing now, it's sharpened up my planning because I take time out on Sunday morning and I actually look ahead and I start cut and carving my meetings up. I make sure that I tailor around my salah and make sure that the things are bucket into deep work, shallow work. And also I've got a side business that I want to kind of that I've started, which is a property management company.
inshallah.
Inshallah, I want to scale that up, and I want to kind of also improve my entrepreneurial skills.
Need to study.
It's helped me to also try and manage that at the same time, inshallah. So yeah, so it's quite alhamdulillah, the programs, the good thing about the program, it's designed in a way to kind of suit your learning journey. So from week 1 to week 8, you can understand that okay, whoever's done this course has gone through that experience, and you're probably going through it yourself. And I think it's tailored in the right way. I think there's wisdom in it, and I'll encourage everyone to inshallah to join and benefit from it, inshallah. And rizq comes from Allah, and just take the opportunity, inshallah, and reap the rewards.
MashaAllah. Thank you so much, Jazakallah khairan, for your time, Wahid. It's been a pleasure having you on the program and continually working with you. We'll make du'as for your vision. You've got a very big vision in Islamic finance. I'm sure Muslims, people watching this, they're going to be seeing your name and hearing about your initiative, inshallah, for years to come. And we thank the listeners and the people on the YouTube channel, wherever they're watching. May Allah bless you. And if this inspires you to take action, yep, there should be a link below this video where you can book an initial consultation with me, and we can, for free, and we can talk about whether this might be the right route for you as well, inshallah. So, Jazakallah khairan again, Brother Wahid. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa
Wa alaikum
barakatuh.
assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.